Hey everybody, I want to thank the Rail Passenger Association for allowing me to take part in today's webinar on the impact of positive onboard experiences. Dallas, my home city, is much like the rest of my home state in that it's rapidly growing. And in order for us to meet the transportation needs of our booming population, we have to utilize passenger rail. As a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, I am proud to have led the charge in Congress championing Texas Central's high-speed rail project between Dallas and Houston. I think there is much more we can do, and I really look forward to answering some of your questions. So let's get started. The first question I have here is, what service improvements are most critical, in your opinion, regarding the Amtrak recovery trajectory post-COVID? Well, first, in places like my home state in Texas, we could make common sense expansion to some of our country's biggest markets. That includes increased service to Austin and San Antonio, and then direct service to Houston. And I'll leave it to the experts to decide how often, but there's clearly demand to get people back and forth between these four major population centers in Texas. And I really don't think that Texas is unique, and I know there are many other regions across the country where an expansion could make sense. Second question is, what are the key ways in which Congress gauges the success of onboard services? Well, clearly ridership is one, and certainly probably number one, but I view it as creating as many convenient options as possible. That's what I'm looking for. And working together across transportation sectors is really important. That's key here in Texas. Where you have major airports, you have growing mass transit, you have hopefully the potential of high-speed rail, the Texas Central project, and you of course have a lot of folks driving. So we need to make it as easy as possible for folks to take advantage of rail in the coming years and build out the infrastructure necessary to do that. And we've learned in Texas from our mass transit, you have to make it as easily accessible as possible. And that's something that I've been working on doing with our state and local leaders, and certainly across the country. Next question is, what would you most like to change about onboard service? Well, personally, I think traveling by train, traveling by rail is a great way to travel. But aside from improved connectivity and getting you to and from the rail station, I think improved services will really go a long way to helping create a sustainable customer base. We have some of the biggest economies in the nation here in Texas, and further connecting them through passenger rail is really only going to help create jobs and give people more options. And the onboard services and amenities should meet the needs of the traveler. Last Congress, we made great strides in the Moving America Forward Act to try and clarify the statute around providing food and beverage services, and I look forward to making similar improvements this Congress. Okay, last question is, if passed, how would the Interstate Rail Compact's Advancement Act benefit communities working to improve their passenger rail services? Well, Congress has been committed to increasing passenger rail services for decades, and I think that one of the main challenges is figuring out how to get multi-state coordination of passenger rail. And this bill by Representative Cohen could have the potential to increase and expand intercity passenger rail into regions that don't currently have rail services. And I'm really pleased that the administration has made this a priority, and I look forward to working in the committee to take a look at this bill. So thanks again for letting me participate with y'all. I look forward to working with you to improve rail services here in my home state in Texas and across the country. Thanks again.